All Stars 9 proved that drag queens can save the world, kind of, as the queens this season threw themselves in the competition and in debt for charity. I'm Grady,
And I'm Zach.
and this is Highlights. Moonan. So they got the winners edit essentially. I don't think they're keeping it every season. I know a lot of people liked it, which I think kind of maybe spurred
Defeats
the
the
idea.
purpose.
I think okay, whoa, guess you're a fan. I I think the positive response to the winners season, I think inspired them maybe to do the charity season and give a similar edit. Okay. Looks like maybe you disagree. But
Yeah, I do disagree. It's so boring, especially when they're so blatantly bad. Like, ugh.
so that is yeah. So the winter season, I liked it a lot, actually. I was like, this makes sense. And they're winners. I feel like they've earned the right to like
Yeah, that makes sense to me, and that I understand.
this. I think I would have been okay with if there hadn't been things like because you could tell like they were struggling sometimes not to include it, like it's like Plastique and that Ali Wong, where they're like, you know, wasn't your best, but
Right,
here's what there was maybe to love. And like Michelle's like
right.
white knuckling it, like she just wants to be like, what the hell were you doing? Um, yeah. So, but and it's for charity. Zach, damn it. Be on board.
You know what? Just donate the damn money and give us a regular All Stars.
Well, they probably got a good. I'm assuming it changes how they do taxes and stuff like that too. They probably got a little tax bump from doing it this way. So good for
Well,
them.
yeah, World of Wonder does.
And they probably say because a lot of it was provided by the Paulette Fund,
Hmm.
essentially donating it just for charity. So they probably actually saved almost an entire season's worth of a budget by just doing it this way. Good for them.
Right.
That's,
So then
that's called business.
it doesn't actually feel like
Yeah.
charity then. It's kind of like when they ask you to donate at the register when you're shopping places, you're not actually donating to the organization they're asking you to. The company has already donated that money and they're looking to recuperate their donation. It's not charitable.
Well, either way, I still always round up when they ask.
Because I like whole numbers.
And I've changed many lives for whatever I donated to, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyways,
Believe in you.
so even though we got this edit, and not that it was bad, but Chanel had a moment that I want to address a little bit, which I think initially got blown out of proportion a little bit.
Yeah.
But Chanel shared that because there is an episode where Chanel was not given a win again, which I disagree with wholeheartedly. Like she deserves some of those. And I think she was in her right to be maybe a little frustrated or at least a little shooketh.
Perturbed.
Yeah. And I didn't even get a vibe that she was like upset, like, oh, pick me. Like, but I think she was like, I think it was just getting to her like, wow, like it's really gonna look like I don't stack up to these younger queens. And she's all right to kind of process that. All right,
Mhm. No, 100%. And like you said, a lot of times it didn't feel right anyway. Like there were times that she really did outperform, but
Yeah.
it wasn't recognized.
Yeah. And overall, like I said, it's a brand new Chanel. Like old Chanel would have been like, well,
I'm
screw you
leaving.
guys, I'm going home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but she really took it in stride and you could tell she was really feeling it this episode and she was really doing her best to hold it together. And she said that RuPaul spent about 30 minutes like actually trying to build her up, which is Is it a new Rue also? This is the
Everyone's
same.
everyone's growing. We're all
Yeah,
learning.
this is the same Rue that, yelled at somebody for wearing H&M, but now she's like, hey, you know what?
Wear that
You're
H&M.
you're doing
It's
you're doing
great.
amazing things up here.
Yeah.
Let's waste everybody's lunchtime on the crew because I want to sit here and talk to you for a minute about how great you are. And I love that. But then I love that Chanel at the end just goes, meh.
Meh.
Because I mean, to be fair, words are words, like actions are actions. So she's like, if you
Mhm.
really feel that way, maybe give me a freaking badge. But
That's
um,
valid.
yeah. But I love that. And I love that she shared that. And I love Chanel.
I guess I also love that it wasn't like at the end of the day it wasn't like terrible tea. It was just like
No,
this is something that happened
yeah.
because things happen that aren't aired.
It's not like Raja's on the winter season where she
Yeah.
apparently I wish I could be there that day
That was some tea.
because I want to know how you just bounce back from that because that was like not late in the season. Like she, I don't know. Like how do you?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you go from there?
How do you do that?
What was truly boring this season, I think, though, was Untucked, which I didn't finish. I still haven't finished Untucked.
I just remember that I didn't watch any of it.
You didn't? I mean, I watched everything except I think the last two, and I think because first of all, episode 11, even just as an episode, like the regular episode, was so boring because it was part one of the finale, quote unquote, but we didn't do
Mhm.
anything. And they had that mini challenge makeover for the crew, which was fine, but I don't know. So I noticed that I think it either was the bulk of the episode or it was a huge chunk of it at least, but it's just them being like in and tucked, like the crew members after being made over,
In
talking
Untucked,
about
like that was
yes,
Untucked.
yes. And
Interesting.
so I was like, I'm not. I'll binge this later. Like I'll just binge the last two later, and then I just never did because I was like, for what? Nothing happened all season. Untucked feels like a waste of time. And the intro is always like, you're only getting half the story. And I'm like, at this point, actually, I do feel like I have
Yeah.
95% of the story and I'm good. I'm like,
Well,
I'm
even
great.
in the regular season, Untucked is so boring. Like I feel like a huge chunk of it is spent on whether or not the guest judge comes back and shares words of wisdom with them. Like no one fucking cares.
Where's
Like
the
that
wisdom?
it the words of wisdom. I fucking hate that. It's so boring. Let them drink and fight.
Yeah.
Like no, thank you. Like in the 2 episodes or 3 episodes I've seen so far of Canada's Drag Race, like there is more tea going on
Yeah.
there, and it is so juicy. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Drag Race felt like.
I saw somebody online say that season two of Canada versus the world is everything All Stars 9 isn't and should have been.
Yes,
And I was like, oh, that's fair.
I agree with that.
That's fair. Yeah, so I just skip it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think they need to switch up that format because I think people are tired
Yeah.
of it.
Well, we've been saying that for a while now. This is like the third or fourth highlights where we're just like, it's not really
Yeah.
doing it for us anymore.
Oh, it's just getting worse. I think.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a downward spiral.
Yeah. In a couple seasons, it's just gonna be them sitting in silence on the couch
Yeah,
for a half an hour, and I truly don't need it.
complimenting each
Um,
other.
yeah, every 5 to 10 minutes. Like what?
Yes.
It's like, oh, that's a really nice glove. Yeah, yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Like, and that's it. For what? Um, so overall, I mean, overall, I don't think this is going to be like everybody's favorite season of All Stars, but I think what we
No.
got overall was fine. Anything else about All Stars before we move on?
Um, man, something like that.
let's talk about DragCon. And first things first, let's talk about me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk
Okay.
about your experience at
Yeah,
DragCon this year, Queen. How was
great,
that?
great. I only did one day, singular day,
Did you have a booth
Saturday appearance
or
only. Yeah, I had a
okay?
highlights booth. Yeah.
Love that.
Not a lot of sales, but no. Uh, uh, no, we went for one day, took the whole fam bam, was double booked that day, so didn't stay as long as I wanted to. But and it was the first drag con I've ever been to. I truly didn't know what I was walking into. Met RuPaul, love that. Um,
Insert photo here.
yeah, it'll be there. Trust.
Trust and believe, Annie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I was like, hey, maybe work on your dresses like next season because like it's been a few flatliners. You know what I mean? No. First of all, she's incredibly tall. Like,
You know what? I wanted to ask, and this I really don't mean this as shade, but in
I
in your
hate you
in your picture,
so much.
y'all look really similar in height, but I happen to know that RuPaul is a very tall man. I also happen to know that you are not. So did they give you a box or how
Wow.
did how did that work?
First of all, he was holding me. I'm just
You in one arm and Georges in the
no,
other. Like
no. They do make every single they have a stool next to him. They make every single person step up to it because nobody can match his height.
well, if they make everyone do it, I'm sure that's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. Unless you're, I think it's they had like a height requirement. I want to say it was like nearly 6 foot. Like if you're like five
Oh,
ten,
cool. I wouldn't have
maybe.
to use that because I'm 6 feet tall.
I think you'd probably yeah, you'd probably be fine. But like watching everybody do it was like wild because and he's very
Was it validating?
about what?
That everyone had to partake in the height discrepancy between Mr. Paul and them.
Oh, yeah, it'd be different if like I walked up and they were like, "Wait,
We have the other soul.
we have something around here somewhere." Yeah. No, it's just there and RuPaul's very like formulaic about it. Like, oh, well, come on over here. Like, oh, let's go ahead and step up here. And then you're right up to this like the most unflattering ring light. Everybody else like had a really good ring light system. RuPaul, I think, just chose a ring light that would only be good for her. And she was like, who cares what the poor ones look like?
I can see that. Like that seems
Yeah.
valid.
And so I was like, whoa. But we made it work. She's real close to it. It's like bam. I was like, what's happening? But really nice. I really didn't know what to expect based on the way they say RuPaul is sometimes. It's how the way some of the queens have shared Pearl.
Mhm.
And you know, but I think truly what I think I'm understanding now about RuPaul in our new blossoming friendship is that I think when it's about business, RuPaul is about business. And when it's about doing something fun, RuPaul is about fun,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. You kind of get that feeling like so I used to listen to What's the Tea like
Mhm.
religiously when I worked in an office job. I mean, I work in an office job now, but one where I wasn't talking to people. Um, and I feel like she compartmentalizes things very well. Like
Yeah.
this is the time for this, this is the time for this, and they're very different ruse.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think about like the way it's probably misinterpreted a lot. So like even Pearl's like, so I think Pearl, the big famous thing Pearl's shared is that, unless the cameras are rolling, anything you say doesn't mean anything, or whatever the hell she said.
Hmm.
Which, to a certain degree, I'm like, okay, but you're there to make a TV show. Like you're there to
Right.
show
Like that
that
is your
to them,
purpose.
not to Rue. Like it's
Yeah.
for everybody else. That's what you're trying to do, and that's beneficial for you and your brand.
Right.
So
So if anything,
chill the
she's
hell
like
out.
that way to help you.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's like it's just misconstrued. I don't know. And RuPaul's a very intelligent person that way. So I just think it just
Well,
doesn't.
and I think a lot of us, like truly, like who can say that they like have a work version of themselves and like a home version of themselves or a fun version of themselves.
Right.
Like especially when I worked in retail, like in management, like that's a different bitch. And she's for sure not as nice as highlights me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
She's also
Um,
dead. We killed her.
she's also dead, yes. But even Office Me, like they're like
Yeah.
sisters. Like it's very. I think most people have a business way of being and then a personal way of being. I think that's
Yeah.
just normal.
Yeah. I
But we
agree.
forget that because we only see one version of celebrities. So I think we assume like this is their whole personality.
Yeah.
But I don't
I
think that's true.
agree. I agree. Um, but yeah, no, RuPaul's really nice, really just like exceptionally tall, like was wearing regular shoes and was just like NBA tall. And I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
It's like impressive. So I can only imagine in drag in heels, like
Hmm.
what that looked like. Oh my God. But really cute, like, well, because I also thought it was gonna be like this Britney Spears type of meet and greet where it's like you're gonna stand over here, Britney's gonna be way over here. You do not
Waving
touch
at
her,
you.
don't look at her. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Um, but not Rue, like Rue is the one that welcomes you in. Actually, the one who ushers you in through the booth is Justin, the one that usually takes the celebrity in and out of Untucked. That was part of
Oh, the crew
the
member. Oh,
mini
okay.
challenge makeover. Yeah, he's the one that brings it. So I was like, oh, hey, it's you. And he's dressed exactly the same.
Oh, how
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, which was funny. But then there's also a team of people that look like the Secret Service, like at all points of the booth, which is weird. Like they're protecting the president. Like it literally looks like they're
You
protecting
know
the
what?
president.
I could see that. Like, if we had to have like a president of gay culture, it
Yeah,
would probably be
yeah,
Miss RuPaul.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
could see
wild.
that,
Yeah, I
especially
was
in
like,
today's day
okay.
and age.
Yeah, it was wild. Um, so that was Rue. It was really cool. I met Michelle. Michelle Michelle's
That's
booth was
tacky.
yeah, Michelle's booth was like any other, and I don't know if she does it every year. Like a lot of people mentioned RuPaul doesn't do it every year, and actually hadn't even been to DragCon since before COVID at all.
Hmm.
So, but Michelle, I think I'm getting a vibe, probably does it all the time. But her booth was kind of like the Queen's booth, like she had just like her own. Like it ran the same. Nobody was guarding her, nothing like that. So
My understanding is that Michelle does a lot more things out and among the queens than Rue
yeah,
does. Like
yeah,
she's toured with them.
yeah,
Um, I feel like there's a very different kind of relationship between her and the queens and Rue and the queens.
yeah. Michelle, it was cute. She had like a little drag race set in her booth. I was like, that's cute. Uh, but she also sells all of her wardrobe from Drag Race. She lets people try it
I
on.
love that.
It's like
Because like what
it's
good is it
really
do sitting in someone's closet and you're probably never gonna wear it again.
yeah. And she'll give like a certificate of authenticity if you're gonna put it in a case or some shit. Like I don't know. But like a lot of people were just like, I'm gonna wear this.
I'm
Yeah.
wear it now. I'm wear it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So people were like
You can
trying it
keep the
on and stuff.
tags.
And she sells it for like a regular, like if you went to go out and buy an outfit, it would probably be the same. Like it's not anything
That's
crazy.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it was wild. Really slow moving line because she talks to you, man. She will spend some time with you. We did like a whole interview because it was me, my husband, and my kids. She just sat there. She wanted to know it all. The people in front of us, like I swear to God, she was talking to somebody and she was like, "Tell me about your history. Tell me about your mom." I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
Oh my god, I'd probably love that. I hope she's there next year. We're gonna try to go next year.
That's awesome. Highlights live from DragCon. That'd be cool.
Yes.
Mhm. Bonus episode. That would be sick.
Look at us
Um,
shooting on location for multiple shows now. Like
yeah,
we're so busy.
I think that would be a great idea for something that I'm about to discuss.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Um, but first, still about me.
Mm, yeah, of course.
So Michelle, look at all the pictures. I'm putting up all the pictures for everybody on YouTube. You're getting a show right now. It's great. Look at me. Uh, no, but a lot of queens were there. It was really great. We met Marina. We talked to Alexis. I've met her before, but we talked to Alexis.
Does she remember you? Because that'd be
Yeah,
yucky.
yeah. She was like, "Oh my God, what's up, bitch? I remember you from 2011." No, I was
Can
like,
you imagine though? Like that'd be
yeah,
yucky.
no. She was really funny though. She was making fun of a lot of people, like other queens and stuff. We met Pandora Knox, who won Drag Race Germany. She was so cool, and she commented on my post, like she remembered my kids and stuff. It was really cool.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Dude, your kids get to meet the coolest people.
yeah, I loved that they met Pandora Knox, especially because she happened that day to be dressed as a giant vagina.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people like who follow me from work and stuff probably like, huh, what's happening? Um, yeah. But the day before, she was dressed as a giant moth, which probably would have been more terrifying. So it's
Yeah.
a-okay. We met Marina Summers, who was fantastic. She spends a lot of time with you too. It was really cool.
I love that. I love that it's not just like here's your photo and bye.
Yeah, no. Crystal Method was the same way too. Crystal Method was like, oh, what's up? Like, we talked about All Stars, her plans for All Stars, all that stuff. And yeah. I was like, aren't you diabetic? No, just kidding. I
You should have.
I know. She'd probably think it was hilarious, but um yeah, no, it was really good. It was, really chill. It's a fun place to be. It's really big too. They fit a lot of people in there. And yeah, it was positive vibes.
I heard it was very hot there this time. Oh no, that was on a setup day.
Yeah,
Said.
setup
Sorry.
day, which brings me to my next thing. So not everybody had a great DragCon experience. Like Willem. So Willem, and it did happen the day before I was there, but Willem was kicked out of DragCon, like removed by police
I think
out
she
of
said it was like
DragCon.
11 security guards had to usher her out.
Yeah, it was security and then police
Hmm.
because to actually kick them off the property, it has to be actual police. So I
Right,
think they
right.
had to wait for police to arrive and do all this stuff. And she had posted a video. She was posting a video for running around DragCon prior, and then a video she's like being escorted out. You've seen the video, yes?
Yes, I have.
And did you watch her talk about it with Alaska?
I sure did.
Okay, so tell me what you perceived happened, and then I'm gonna give mine because I've been reflecting on this a lot. And tell me your thoughts.
So, okay, so initially I just saw her video
Okay.
and that showed her going up to RuPaul's booth. And of course, RuPaul wasn't
Yeah,
there. There
right.
was just that one girl in line. I thought, well, I mean, if this is the kind of stuff you're doing, maybe I could see why you're kind of like poking the bear,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
kind of the vibe I was getting. Like, okay, you were kicked out, but like sometimes it's like, well, what were you doing? Because yes, that's fucked up, but like what was really happening here?
yeah.
And then when I listened to her talk with Alaska about it, where she was really there as a guest of somebody else. She said Adore gave her passes, I think. And
Oh, she did say
they,
that.
yeah. So she got passes from Adore. So she was there as Adore's guest.
Oh, okay.
And then she didn't have a booth, but she's had booths in the past, but she's had issues with them, with her booth in the past. Whether it be like the power not working to her booth, but working for everyone else's, stuff like that. And there being a like price discrepancy, like minor things that I'm sure once added up were a pain in the butt. But then it wasn't until she was going to walk the pink carpet when she wasn't around her group that they kind of encircled her and said, you can't be here. in
Uh-huh.
so many words. And then that's when they started ushering her out because she was going to walk the pink carpet, which is
Okay.
what I gathered from that interview. What was
Okay.
your take on it?
So, and I must have missed the part where she said that Adore gave her passes, which may change things a little bit. Because at first I was listening to it and I was like, wow, that's really like wild. Like, why,
Hmm.
like, you know. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, actually, I might actually be Team DragCon because initially, because I'm watching her video and she's running around early in the morning. She looks insane, which is
I know
first of all,
her like pinhead
yeah,
headpiece.
it was a choice. I was like, okay. But she's also like on the escalators, like filming people who are just trying to walk in and arrive, like to set up their stuff and be ready. And I don't think they'd even let VIP in yet because there's All Stars VIP passes that people buy, and then there's general admission, and they get let in at different times.
Hmm. Makes sense.
So she's there early, and she's like, around and walking up to RuPaul's booth and like being funny, which is fine, like whatever. But she's kind of being obnoxious,
Hmm.
which is kind of Willem's brain,
Oh yeah, that's like Willem's
you
thing,
know.
right?
But initially I'm like, because the way she described it was like, well, I'm a drag queen and I should be able to be here and all of this stuff. And, I don't think they should have kicked me out. This is, whatever. But I'm like, okay, but one, like, you don't have a booth.
Hmm.
If she had a pass, that was fine. But I was trying to, like, even like, I've rewatched her, like, initial video of her running around. I'm like, I don't see her with her pass. I mean, it could be that the person she came with, like, held it for her. But I was like, I don't see her with a wristband. I don't see that she's like paid for a ticket. So I'm like, is she just like there? And then she's walking the pink carpet, which is, I mean, it's fine. And she has been on the show. People would love to see her. I don't know that I'd necessarily have a problem with her doing it, but she also didn't have a freaking, like, she's not there as a scheduled person.
No, she's just there as like a
Yeah.
guest.
So it was weird to me that she wanted to walk the pink carpet. So because I would save that maybe for the people that are paid for booths
Hmm.
and
Okay, yeah, I
are
can see that.
there to
Like
be
that's part of you
featured.
being there and being featured. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of felt like she was almost like crashing the pink carpet, even just kind of by the way she was talking about it, which was
But
like,
then
okay.
does everyone who walks the pink carpet have a booth at DragCon?
I mean, I haven't watched the full thing, but I kind of believe so. I mean,
Okay.
the people that I did see, like they all were involved in some way. They either had their own booth or they did something with WoW and they were at
Hmm.
WoW's booth or they were filming something for Hey Queen or Bring Back My Girls or something and
They were
leaving then
otherwise supposed to be there featured as part of the
yes,
convention. Okay, that makes sense.
yes. And it sounds like for the most part, maybe they were like about to let her anyway and just like whatever, you know. But I'm like, it came off almost like entitled. Like, why can't I just be running around here? It's like, okay.
Hmm.
Um,
It's kind of like the Krampus of DragCon. Like,
yeah. And she's talking about the conversation. I forget the lady's name, but I think it's like essentially the manager of DragCon, or
hmm.
for lack of a better term, who was like, well, because she indicated there was a problem last year with her booth, which is why she didn't get a booth this time.
Right.
And she had like this, what almost kind of sounded like a conspiracy theory of like, well, they purposely didn't turn on my
Yeah.
power and my Wi-Fi. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then she's like, and they offered me a refund. It wasn't like, I demanded the refund. But I'm like, no, but it sounds like you probably, and maybe just a casual observer of Willem's history. I'm under the assumption that she probably said something, like was probably perturbed. I think it's
Well,
the
yeah,
word
because
of the week.
she had even said that on one of the setup days, they didn't have uh AC turned on, and she had said, well, if I had paid for a booth and there was no AC on the day I was supposed to set up, then I would have said something.
Yeah. So I'm
So,
sure she
well,
was difficult, or maybe, quote unquote, a problem, probably. And they probably just said, hey, we'll give you a refund, like, chill the hell out.
right.
And that's how that year probably ended. And they probably just didn't expect to see her, especially when she didn't reserve a freaking booth. So I'm sure they were like really worried about what's going on. And then she's running around being obnoxious. And I think they were probably right to observe maybe what she's up to.
Mhm.
And then she's like crashing the pink carpet. So I think at that point they were like, I don't know what this is.
Right.
You gotta go. And that's they're from their right to do so.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a convention that they put on with a specific set of acts and people who have paid to be there. I get that. Like,
Yeah.
no matter how much you feel like you are a part of that community, it's World of Wonders playground, and they can do what they want with it.
Yeah. So and then she mentions Rue and all this stuff. Like Rue was like in the shower under
Snipers
remove
trained
her.
on her.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. Like, oh, I don't know. Even just kind of watching what was happening and kind of reading about it everywhere else I was going, and then listening to her rant, I was like, you could tell there's two sides to this. And my favorite part is that when she's talking about it with Alaska, Alaska is dead silent.
Just sipping her
Alaska's
tea.
like, Alaska's like not agreeing with you, not gonna say a word, not.
Mhm.
And she's already partially blacklisted because of her friendship with Willem.
But
She's like, the last thing
Alaska
I need.
does that a lot. Like, and I think it's really smart. Like
It is.
even when she was on All Stars, right? Like a lot of times she's just let people run their mouth and just okay.
Do your thing. And then I love Willem was like, well, how was your DragCon? And she was like, I think it's my favorite one. Yeah. And then she made it this big deal, like, oh, I think DragCon's really run its course. Like,
Yeah, I heard her say that, and I was like, really though? Has
yeah.
it? I don't
And I was
know.
like, but you had a booth. It sounds like kind of every year until this one. And then even now, like you were willing to be there probably the whole weekend running around.
I feel like people who believe that they were once an integral part of a community and then are hit with the realization that maybe they're not
Yeah.
typically feel that way about said community or events planned by said community.
Yeah. So so they're like, that's why all these other people probably aren't doing it. But she also mentions like they changed the date, like it's when a lot of people are doing other stuff.
Like it used to
So
be in May and this time it was in
yeah,
July.
and so they just made a choice or were pre-booked, like because there was a lot of queens there. A lot of queens there.
Mhm.
And I've never been to another year of DragCon. I don't know. I have nothing really to compare it to. And I was only there for one day, but it seemed like everybody was having a freaking blast. The queens were having a blast. The fans were having a blast. Like it seemed like a good time. They do after parties and stuff. I didn't do any of that because I have kids and we had stuff going on anyway. But I was like, it seems like everybody's on board.
Mhm.
And even your own co-host right there is like, actually, it's probably the best one
Had
yet.
a wonderful time.
Things are incongruent, Chica.
Yeah.
So
It's very I don't get free coffee at my favorite coffee shop, so that place has gone downhill.
yeah, yeah, it was a very that.
New management
And
really sucks.
yeah, it was very that, which I mean, she's just projecting her feelings, I guess. But I was like,
Yeah.
it at face value, like if you're just taking what Willem says, it sounds very like, oh my God, like how could they do this to her? But like when
Well,
you,
that's what I thought when I initially saw her interview or like started
yeah,
hearing about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, like what happened?" Like you almost want to buy into it, but
yeah,
then
it's
when you
like,
listen to it, it's like,
yeah, but it was like putting all the pieces together. I was like, don't, I don't think I don't think you're on the right side of history.
yeah.
Maybe, and I'm sure when they approached her, like she was probably abrasive. And it sounded
Willem
like,
abrasive.
yeah. And it sounded like she was like, oh, I wish everybody had their phones. 'Cause she was like, some of the girls wanted to help me and a lot of them didn't. Because I'm like, it's like, okay, imagine like when when somebody's being approached for something they're not supposed to be doing, but then they try to make it like a viral moment. We're like, oh, I'm gonna
Right.
get you, and everybody else is like,
It's like,
oh,
girl, you
well,
were caught stealing. I don't
yeah,
want to be a part of this.
yeah, yeah. I kind of just pictured it like that, and even Adora, I think, was like, oh, but I don't have my phone. Like,
Yeah, like, I
what
saw
am I
you
gonna
take the lip
do?
gloss, girl.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's her experience. That's her experience. But I was just like, I don't. It seemed fine to me, and kind of like they were in their right to do what they did. And it's not like they were doing that to a bunch of other people. So
Yeah, it wasn't like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like it was one rowdy
yeah,
person.
looking at the larger equation as a whole, I'm inclined to think that I come to a different result than Willem did. But
Mhm.
you know, but it's a blast. You should all go.
Yeah, Alaska will tell you it was the best one. So
Yeah. But now I know. Go the whole weekend. Try and be around somewhere at that pink carpet. And I love too because Pride, like Pride.com or some was like doing interviews around DragCon or something, or at one of the events around DragCon or something like that. But Nicole Page Brooks, because I guess Nicole Page Brooks, of all people, was like around the little posse that was in the chaos with Willem. And so they were being held up from the pink carpet. And so somebody asked her a question about the pink carpet, and Nicole Page Brooks just, without even thinking about it, was like, "Oh yeah, like they held up Willem, and as soon as they got rid of Willem, like they let us all go." Like, and they're like, "Oh," and then she was like, "Oh, cash at me for that information."
I just provided you a service. I expect money for that.
Hilarious. Yeah. So I don't know. I had a great time. Sorry, Willem, that you did not.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. But I loved watching her video though, because I was like, oh, that's where I was. Like, you know exactly where everything was.
I know where that's
Or like,
at.
I know that staircase is. I was like, oh, I think she was in the same parking lot. Like, that's great. Uh, yeah.
Sorry, Willem.
Sorry, girl. Not your year. Maybe calm the hell down. Maybe you'll get an all-stars call.
Imagine.
Her war with this whole company and franchise is crazy to me because then she hosts a podcast called Race Chaser.
Hmm.
I don't know. So this worked out really well last year. And I think given one of the announcements I'm going to make in a little bit, social media wise, I am starting a new annual tradition after All Stars wraps where we take a look at the upcoming forecast of the drag year for all of our drag related programs
The
that we
drag
cover.
year. I love that.
Yes. So let's look at the rumored but all but confirmed casts of Dragula, Drag Race, and Drag Race All Stars. Shall we?
Yes.
This is what,
Let's.
and I just want to point out, that,
I just like to say.
yeah, that what I reported on highlights last year all came to pass. I'm a seer. I'm having the visions.
The Oracle.
Yeah. Oracles. Oracle of Delphi.
What a cool drag name.
Oracle of Delphi.
No, just Oracle Delphi.
I already have a drag name picked out should the opportunity ever arise.
What is it?
I don't know if I should reveal it. What if
Oh,
someone
okay.
takes it? Whatever. It's time stamped. uh,
They'll forever live on the internet.
you heard it here first. No, my drag name would be Dos Alexa. Last name would be Pro, Prueaux. Dos Alexa Pro.
I love that. I can never come up with a catchy name.
Yeah.
Mine suck.
but for sure I would just go by Dos Alexa.
Just Alexa, a little bit Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. See, I suck at this.
It's all right.
Yeah.
No,
I've been
Oracle of Delphi. Love it.
yeah, because you seemed like you were really into it when I said your reaction to it was very convincing that that
Yeah.
was the drag name.
Yeah. I'd hang out with you.
Hang out with me anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be a difference.
Sit at my table for lunch, buddy.
Oh, thanks, bitch.
Yeah. But don't walk with me down the hall.
10 paces behind.
Yeah. Got a reputation to keep up here.
Fuck you.
Anyway, here's my forecast. So, to be fair, I didn't really triple check this and I just ripped it away from somebody else who's following this more closely than I am. But this is who the rumored Dragula 6 cast is.
Uruguay. I love that.
Yeah. They always film really close to airtime, so this happens really fast, which is why I don't always keep constant tabs on their casting.
Mm.
But this is who to expect, and I will say, I pulled from the same or a similar source, and it ended up being what it was. So I'm fairly confident that this is who we're looking at. So Asia Consent, that's pretty cool. She looks pretty cool too.
Yes, she does.
Anti-Hero, love it. Aurora Gosmic, Desiree Dick, Gray Matter, Pie, Silicone, Severity Stone. Does not look like she'll be there long. And Vivi the Force. And Uruguay. Some of these you can tell I'm a little less confident about. But we'll see how it plays out.
Pie kind of looks like Crystal Method a little bit. Like the overdrawn lips kind of remind me of hers.
I wonder if they're related.
Maybe. Be fierce.
A lot of the, and you know what? A lot of these queens end up at DragCon as well. There's a lot of Dragula people.
Interesting.
Mhm.
You see the Boulets?
No. But
No.
the Boulets did do Midsummer Scream, which is a horror convention. Like they do a lot of those and they have like panels and stuff.
Okay.
And they're there representing AMC and things like that. Or Fangoria, they do a lot with Fangoria too, which tends to do a lot of the conventions. So
Is it just this picture or are Desiree Dick's eyes like not level?
well, her head's tilted. So
Oh, it is. Okay, it's really hard to tell from this picture.
yeah. Or
I was
maybe
like,
maybe it's like an orca where like that's just
maybe.
where her eyes look like they are.
But
But
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
I
to
was like,
ward
oh,
off
she
predators.
looks misshapen.
Yeah. So that's Dragula 6, which I'm assuming, when did it premiere last year? October? A little
Yes.
before.
I think it was the beginning of October, but it went into December, I think.
We actually rolled through the first week of January.
Oh, that's right. We rolled through the first week. That's right. We did.
Yeah, which was kind of unusual, but I'm assuming it'll be kind of the same thing. I'm hoping it doesn't overlap too much with Global All Stars, but it might a little bit. So we'll see how that goes.
That's right, because they had a week off for the holidays because we were out of
Uh-huh.
town.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
Seems
So
like
that's Dragula
yesterday.
6. So this is where things get a little interesting. So this is Dragula 7. Dragula, Jesus Christ. This is Drag Race 17. Okay. I feel like
Acacia forgot.
Acacia forgot. It is a great name.
That is a great name. She's giving Trixie Mattel.
Arietti.
Okay.
Read her.
The
Uh,
winner.
yeah. Crystal Envy.
All right.
I'm assuming related to Scarlet, but you never know. Hormona Lisa.
Love that.
Jules Sparkles. Not
Okay.
on board. Joella.
Okay.
Corey King, who looks pretty fierce actually.
Yeah.
Lana Jarre.
Is that right?
Lexi V Love. Lucky Stars with 3 Z's, who looks
Wow.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia Collins.
I like the feel of that.
Lydia Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Anya Nerve. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Starr and Susie
Mm.
Toot, who is this year's Blair St. Clair Plasma mashup or whatever the hell that brand. They have to have one, like period queen.
That's right. We do have one at
Yeah.
least. Harmona Lisa looks like she might be too, but like elevated.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is Drag Race 17. It's already in the
Interesting.
can. They've already filmed. It's been done and over with. Look out for that. Beginning of the year. Usually we start getting promos.
Just
We
six
usually start
short months away.
we usually start getting promos, I think, in December, and then they roll out in January.
Yep.
So look out for that. This is where things get more interesting. Just in case everybody wants to avoid spoilers for All Stars 10, we've taken out our spoiler discussion. But if you still want to hear all of the awesome spoilers to look out for next year in All Stars 10, a bonus episode of highlights will be dropping later this week. That will just be the spoiler discussion we had all about All Stars 10. And now, back to the episode. This is All Stars 10, which I have a lot of notes on because there's a lot to unpack here. So, All Stars 10 will be a completely new All Stars format.
Interesting.
Get ready for this. So,
Phoenix?
oh, yes. So,
What?
hold on, calm the down.
I'm so shook.
Yeah, I know. So, and again, if you're watching this on YouTube and stuff, like all of this stuff is being laid out for you right now. Okay, so just
Yeah.
follow along, baby.
It's Bosco.
Yeah, chill out. For this year, they are dividing the cast into 3 groups that will film 3 episodes, or did film 3 episodes each. Here's group 1. Okay.
Okay.
Aja from season 9 and All Stars 3. Bosco from season 14.
Sco.
Deja Sky from season 14.
Oh, I love Deja.
Irene the Alien, formerly Irene Dubois. Do you remember her? From season 15.
Did she digivolve?
Yeah. Yeah. Olivia Lux from season 13.
Oh, I love her.
I was not a fan of her. And Phoenix from season 3. Okay.
Clear choice. Winner right there.
Which brings us to group 2. Take a look here. Anything jump out?
I can't.
Oh. Anything else interesting you noticed in this group?
Hey, she's in season 17.
Yeah.
We just saw her.
So let's break this down. So group
she
2
clearly doesn't win.
We don't know. Group 2 is Georges,
Rue's granddaughter, and
from
chosen vessel.
Who, from a couple sources I heard, was requested by RuPaul by name to be included in this season and called back.
Of course, to the one queen's name she'll remember is Georges.
Yeah. So Georges from season 14 and All Stars 9, who we were just talking about. Season's just ending. Carrie Colby from season 14. We talked about her a little bit today too. Lydia Collins from season 17. We just mentioned her as one of the forecasted queens for season 17. So they filmed season 17 and then immediately called her back. And she filmed
So she must
again,
be good,
I
maybe?
guess.
I don't
I'm
know,
like,
that's not
how do
true because
you,
they called Georges, so
but I'm like, and then how do you prepare looks?
yeah. Well,
Like,
wait,
oh
did
my
that
God.
happen with somebody else, right? Didn't they just finish their season and then were on the following All Stars?
No, this is no. The only time I think something like that has ever happened is when there was a gap before airing All Stars.
Like a gap year.
Yes. And
I could
even
have sworn
then,
there was someone in one of
no.
the more recent All Stars.
To my
Not from
knowledge,
like the same season, but like it was like just the previous season.
oh, that happens fairly often. So
Okay.
like it wouldn't be, I mean, it's happening right now with George. Uh like that's not totally unusual because they film a year in advance. So for example, like to see somebody from season 16 here would not be totally unsurprising.
Right, that's what I meant. But not the same season from the same airing
No,
year. Yeah.
no, and they film back to back. So this is
That's interesting.
wild, wild. And apparently production, from what I heard, really wanted just like a really recent fresh face queen to come back for some reason. So they just like, hey, what about you?
Interesting.
Uh yeah. The rest of the group entails Mistress Isabel Brooks from season
So
15. Yeah. Who was at DragCon, but the day we saw her, she was just wearing a wig. That was it. No
no
makeup,
makeup?
nothing.
Baby
Which
girl.
which I thought was weird. And it could have been just a gag or something she was doing. Like, I don't know. But I also was like, was that because maybe she reserved a booth and then suddenly had to film something?
Oh, maybe that would make sense.
Yeah.
I
Because some of these
wonder.
people I think were alternates also. That's the other thing. So Nicole Page Brooks from season 2.
Nicole Page
Just talking about
Brooks.
her. Tina Burner from season 13.
Oh yeah, she's a person. Ew, Acid Betty. Ugh.
Okay,
Oh, Diet Betty. Okay.
calm, calm down. She throws up like all over the. So group 3 was, yes, Acid Betty from season 8.
Ugh.
Alyssa Hunter from season 14. I
Fierce.
barely I barely remember her, but I do remember
She
she was
was
like
like, I think
popular.
she was like the trade of the season that season.
Yeah, great. Love that for
Yeah. Mhm.
her. Cynthia Lee Fontaine from season 8 and season 9.
And her cuckoo,
Yep. Diet Betty from season 14.
who has grown on me.
That's good. I'll explain why in a minute. Denali from season 13. Cherise, if you're listening, this is your girl. She loved
Yeah,
Denali.
she does.
And Ginger Minge from season 7, All Stars 2, and All Stars 6.
Because why
Why?
not?
Yes. Ah, okay.
There's room for everybody. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Let's wrap this up because I told my husband that I would be out at 10 and it is 10:46. So, where are we at? So we'll be back with Global All Stars. Global All Stars is a special spinoff. They can't get enough of those. Which I think they're doing in place of what Secret Celebrity Drag Race kind of held the spot for last time. But
Hmm.
Global All Stars will be on Paramount Plus, and it's coinciding with the Olympics, and it's different than the versus the world seasons because UK versus the world and Canada versus the world usually involves like around 3 people from the home country versus like 1 from like a sampling of other countries,
Aren't the
things like
Olympics
that.
going on right now?
Yeah. And Global All Stars will happen a week and a half.
Well, they'll be done, right?
They might be. Do you want them at the same time?
No, I was trying to match those up.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
the Olympics is only like a week or so,
yeah.
from what I
Um,
remember.
yeah. So it's regular Olympics and then the gay Olympics.
Got it. Love that.
Um, their theme is Olympics for their promos. It's kind of cute, sort of.
Oh, that is cute. That's the agenda.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll probably cover that because now it's on our home shores and it's truly something special. I don't know how many of these we're getting because not that many queens can pass the English proficiency test for other countries. So this might be it for a long time. And we will see how that plays out. I already know how it does. Spoiler alert.
Oh, great.
I do. I know exactly who the top two queens are. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
I know Canada's too, if you really want to know. Anyways.
No, I don't.
Okay. That's good. A wealth of knowledge up here. The only one I don't know is season 17's. I do like there's an element of surprise I try to maintain. And even All Stars, like I tend to just forget all this because it's a year from now. It starts rolling out. I don't remember any of this. Yeah, so we'll be back for Global All Stars. Look out for that. So you get kind of like a bonus season from us. It'll probably be dropping really close to the beginning of Dragula, so that'll all happen fairly close together, I think. So look at that.
All right.
Also, we have an Instagram now, which we will be using to some degree there. So you can find us at highlights. I think it's highlights_pod. Some shit like that. I don't know. Find it. And I'm gonna try and post some things up there and keep that active even when our episodes are not dropping. So that way you get some more highlights content if you care to get some. Also, for those of you that watch us on YouTube, the YouTube channel is different now. It's now the Planet Grady channel Challenger. Nope. I hope that's not an omen, like the shuttle. Whoa.
Big shoes to fill.
Boom.
Huge.
Yeah. Looking to make a boom, if you know what I'm saying. It's now the Planet Grady channel. Long story about that. I need to change my neon sign. PG Media is no more. So now it matches closer to what my personal Instagram is. But everything for the most part is the same on the channel. It's just easier to find me and all of the content I produce with my friends like Zach here and Charisse. So yeah, there's that. So things you should know about that. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. We covered everything.
Thank you for listening and or watching. There are options for you to ensure you can keep enjoying past and upcoming episodes of Highlights. If you are enjoying Highlights on a podcast platform, please leave us a review and maybe subscribe. Be
Tell your
cool.
friends.
Yeah, do that. If you are watching us on YouTube, and you probably should, otherwise you're getting half the stuff. Remember when Untucked was cool?
Good.
Yeah. But if you are watching us on YouTube, you can leave us a like and comment and subscribe to the Planet Grady channel and make sure you hit the bell icon, turn on notifications so you don't miss out when episodes and other content drop. Follow us on Instagram at HighlightsPod. And with all of that being said, as always,
thank you for watching Highlights, and we'll see you next time.